9. A confrontational crash. A New York driver who crashed their vehicle through the front door of a gas station in early 2017 looked even more foolish when their friend was captured on camera throwing a tantrum afterward. At least 2 onlookers that were walking by stopped and pulled out their phones and began recording outside the mobile convenience store just moments after the accident occurred. In the footage, a woman who appears to have been in the car with the driver erupts into a fit of rage when she sees people filming, calling them dumb bleeps, giving them the middle finger, and hurling other insults at them. In all fairness, it's understandable that perhaps the woman was embarrassed. She pointed out that the situation didn't even involve the passers-by, which is admittedly true. But her anger seemed excessive to the witnesses, who were left stunned yet amused by her erratic behavior. The woman became even angrier as 2 bystanders continued to record her screaming. She asked why they were filming, and someone replied that the driver behind the wheel of the red car had almost killed people. Arguing that the crash was an accident, the woman stomped towards the concerned onlookers and threatened to kick one man's phone out of his hand. She then began to chase the pair down the street, who continued to record the ordeal as they challenged her to come at them. The woman threatened to kill the witnesses, who laughed and taunted her with warnings that she was in big trouble and that the video was going to be posted on social media. 8. Violence captured on video. 20-year-old Shamika Burton and 3 others were standing outside of a Dodge Charger in front of a Detroit gas station one day in 2016 when a Pontiac Grand Prix pulled up. The parties began exchanging heated words, prompting the young woman to go into the Charger's glove compartment and grab a handgun, which she hid in her underwear. Her friends tried to restrain her, but she ran over to the Grand Prix and began firing at the people inside. The driver was shot several times. The harrowing encounter was captured on surveillance footage at one of the city's 8 Project Greenlight gas stations. Ironically, Project Greenlight is a partnership that was formed between local police and business owners out of a shared goal to reduce violence and prevent crime. As part of the collaborative effort to make Detroit safer, the cameras at these stations are rolling 24/7 and are constantly monitored from police headquarters. Shamika faced a slew of charges, including assault with intent to murder, armed robbery, and numerous gun felonies, including carrying a concealed weapon and carrying with unlawful intent. She was found guilty and received a 10 to 20-year prison sentence for the assault charge, along with 2 to 5 years for the weapons charges. At her sentencing, Shamika apologized for robbing the victims, but said that she had nothing to say about the attempted murder. 7. Fatal fuel-up. 31-year-old Tamara Cornelius was filling her gas tank at an Exxon station outside Philadelphia recently when someone shot her multiple times. Police rushed to the scene, where they found the woman clinging to life in the parking lot. She was pronounced dead at the hospital less than an hour later. An autopsy revealed that she was pregnant. Law enforcement named Tamara's ex-boyfriend, 38-year-old Rafi Thompson, as their prime suspect. The pair had met up about an hour before the fatal shooting and spoke for a few minutes before Tamara went into the Cheesecake Factory for dinner. An investigation determined that Thompson had followed his ex-girlfriend out of the restaurant's parking garage and to the gas station. He approached her at the fuel pump, where they briefly exchanged words before the suspect opened fire. Thompson continued to shoot while Tamara desperately tried to get away. He fled the scene and is wanted on charges of first-degree murder and homicide for killing Tamara and her unborn baby. Thompson is considered armed and dangerous, and there's a $5,000 reward being offered for information leading to his capture. Police warn the public not to approach the suspect and to dial 911 immediately if they see the man, who's 5 feet 7 inches, 1.7 meters tall, and weighs around 170 pounds, 77 kilograms. 6. Murderous MOW-DOWN. A 53-year-old gas station clerk named Jerry Farhat was just doing his job one night in late February when he suspected 2 men of shoplifting and followed them outside the marathon store he worked at in Redford Township, Michigan. The pair had purchased a few items, but also helped themselves to a 5-finger discount on a few things. A surveillance video shows the thieves getting into a vehicle and barreling straight at Farhat as he approached the car. They ran him over and fled the scene. The victim, who'd worked at the gas station for 30 years, fought for his life for several weeks after the hit and run. But he suffered from severe brain trauma and died from his injuries in mid-March. The murder initially received little airplay, leaving Jerry's family members frustrated and the suspects at large. Police finally released footage of the men earlier this month and asked the public for help identifying them. US Marshals soon caught up with one of the suspects, 28-year-old David Tyrell Fitzgerald in Detroit. He faces charges of assault with intent to murder, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, and assault with a dangerous weapon. Officials announced plans to amend the charges now that Jerry has passed away. If convicted, Fitzgerald faces a possible life sentence. He's currently being held without bond as he awaits his next court date. The other suspect is still on the run. 5. Hit and walk. A 24-year-old Michigan man named William Edmonds made headlines in 2019 after he crashed his vehicle into a gas pump island at a BP station in Ortonville, roughly 50 miles, 80 kilometers outside Detroit. The station's surveillance cameras recorded the bizarre collision, which shows the suspect removing the license plate from his pickup truck and walking away from the scene. Deputies accused Edmonds of rapidly accelerating in the parking lot before hitting the gas pumps at around 2:30 in the morning. Witnesses reported that the truck hit a curb near one of the pumps, causing the driver to lose control of the vehicle. He struck the island, then crashed into the front of the store. According to the incident report, Edmonds told law enforcement that he'd been drinking beer that night and that he wanted to speed around the pumps because the new tires on his truck spun easily. He said he didn't deliberately crash the vehicle and that he left the scene with the license plate in his hand because he was scared. A gas station employee recognized Edmonds as a regular customer and identified him to police. The young man was charged with reckless driving and failing to report an accident before leaving the scene. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but broken liquor bottle fragments came into contact with an electrical outlet in the floor, causing a fire to break out. Firefighters managed to put out the flames. A judge released Edmonds on a $5,000 bond under the agreement that he never returned to the BP station and that he submitted to weekly drug and alcohol tests while the case played out in court. 4. Conniving couple. Police in Espanola, New Mexico recently responded to reports of a fight in progress at a Speedway gas station around 10 at night. When they arrived, they witnessed a man and a woman throwing a shelf rack onto the ground. The couple fled the scene on foot when they saw the officers, but were eventually apprehended. 34-year-old Abel Trujillo and his girlfriend 33-year-old Rylene Martinez are facing numerous charges in connection with the incident. Trujillo is accused of threatening employees with a gun and throwing a punch at one of the workers, who kicked Martinez out of the store for allegedly starting a fight. Officers found 2 revolvers in the man's possession, along with crack cocaine, Xanax, tablets, and various other drugs. He was charged with an aggravated assault, being a felon in possession of a gun, resisting arrest, and numerous drug offenses, including trafficking and distribution of a controlled substance. Police were initially planning to let Martinez go, but she became uncooperative. They put her in the back of a patrol car and found that she had a bag containing 10 fentanyl pills. She was charged with possession of a controlled substance, tampering with evidence, disorderly conduct, battery and resisting, evading or obstructing an officer. 3. Machete-wielding madman. About a year ago, things became heated between 32-year-old Travis Williams and another man outside a Family Express gas station in Hobart, Indiana. It started with a verbal disagreement, which escalated into violence when Williams swung a machete at the victim, striking him in the right shoulder and hand. The man's wounds required 50 stitches and 30 staples. Court documents revealed that the argument started when Williams took a mask that the man was planning to buy at the store. The victim confronted Williams inside the business, then again in the parking lot. Prosecutors agreed to drop several charges in exchange for Williams pleading guilty to a felony count of battery resulting in serious bodily injury. As part of the deal, he agreed to have no contact with the victim. If the judge accepts the agreement, when Williams returns to court in May, he'll be sentenced to 2.5 years of probation. 2. A senseless stabbing. Police in Orlando, Florida, were recently called to an Amoco gas station where they found a 71-year-old homeless man named Charlie Henderson unresponsive in his wheelchair with a stab wound. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The manager who was working at the store when the stabbing occurred told detectives that Henderson had gone into an argument with another man who slapped the elderly victim in the face. The pair then headed in the direction of a Greyhound bus station. A confidential informant told investigators that she heard the killer was a man with beautiful eyes, leading them to 48-year-old Lester Starling. Nicknamed Cat Eyes, he allegedly told the tipster that he didn't mean to kill Henderson. Starling told another source that the stabbing was an accident, but that it wasn't caught on camera and that there were a lack of witnesses, indicating that he expected to get away with it. He's currently being held at the Orange County Jail on a first-degree murder charge. 1. A crime of opportunity. In early March, a customer left their car running at the gas pump outside of a Stop and Shop convenience store in Hornell, New York while they went inside to get a few things. People leave their car on and run inside gas stations all the time, and it seems harmless. But in those few moments while the vehicle was unattended, someone got in it and drove away. Police found the stolen car later that day, but it took them several weeks to track the suspect down. They traced the crime to a man named Brian Hodgnoski and charged him with 3rd and 4th degree larceny of a motor vehicle and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. The incident happened amid an ongoing spike in carjackings in Steuben County, where officers have reported seeing as many as 4 or 5 times more car thefts than usual. And the increase in carjackings isn't just happening in New York, but in numerous regions and cities throughout the whole country. The numbers have skyrocketed over the last 2 years since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it seems like the problem is only getting worse. Earlier this month, a 22-year-old Florida man named Elijah Sutton allegedly stole a car and tried to run someone over outside a gas station in Fort Walton Beach before crashing the vehicle into a light pole and through the front of a store. The suspect is accused of forcibly removing the victim from their company vehicle before getting behind the wheel and driving off. He was charged with carjacking, aggravated assault with intent to commit a felony, resisting without violence, and possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. Thanks for watching. Would you rather witness a terrifying gas station robbery but walk away uninjured, or have an embarrassing meltdown on video that goes viral? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, bye.